Hello IELTS warriors. Welcome back to the channel. If you are preparing for the IELTS academic test on the 23rd of August or the 6th of September, today's video is going to be extremely valuable for you. Why? Because in this session, we'll look at 3 process diagrams that are highly likely for your writing task 1. And I'll walk you through Band 8 sample answers, step by step. Remember, process diagrams are not about numbers but about stages and sequencing. Once you learn how to describe them properly, you'll never feel stuck in the exam again. Now furniture manufacturing process. Let's begin with the first diagram, the furniture manufacturing process. I'll show you a Band 8 model answer that explains key features, comparisons, and trends. Question is: the diagram illustrates the furniture manufacturing process. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features. Band 8 model answer. The diagram outlines the key stages involved in manufacturing furniture, from raw material collection to final shipping. The process begins with sourcing raw materials, including wood, metal, and fabric. These materials then undergo cutting and shaping to prepare them for assembly. During the assembly stage, the components are joined together to form the basic structure of the furniture. Next, the assembled furniture moves to the finishing stage, which includes sanding, painting, and upholstering to enhance its appearance and functionality. After finishing, the product goes through quality control to ensure it meets required standards. Finally, approved items are packaged and shipped to customers or retailers. Overall, the furniture manufacturing process is linear and sequential, involving 6 main stages: material sourcing, cutting and shaping, assembly, finishing, quality control, and packaging with shipping. Each stage is essential for transforming raw materials into finished products. The key here is to focus on the sequence. The process starts with raw material collection, mainly wood, metal, and fabric. Next, these materials go through cutting and shaping, preparing the components for use. After that, everything comes together in the assembly stage, where the basic furniture structure is formed. Then comes finishing, sanding, painting, upholstering, all to improve appearance and function. Once the finishing is complete, the products undergo quality control, where any defective items are filtered out. Finally, approved furniture is packaged and shipped to retailers or customers. Exam tip: always remember to mention the main stages clearly and highlight the linear, step-by-step nature of process diagrams. Now fabric manufacturing process. Now, let's move on to the second diagram, fabric manufacturing. I'll show you a Band 8 model answer that explains key features, comparisons, and trends. Question is: the diagram illustrates the fabric manufacturing process from raw materials to finished products. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features. Band 8 model answer. The diagram outlines the key stages involved in manufacturing fabric, from raw material preparation to the final finishing processes. The process begins with sourcing raw materials, which include natural fibers like sheep's wool and silk, as well as synthetic polymers. These materials undergo fiber processing, where wool is cleaned and carded, while synthetic fibers are prepared for spinning. Next, the fibers are spun into yarn through spinning. The yarn then moves to fabric construction, where it is either woven, interlacing warp and weft threads on a loom, or knitted, interlooping yarn. After construction, the fabric undergoes finishing processes such as dyeing, mercerization, for strength and luster, and calendaring, for smoothness. The final products include various fabrics like denim and polyester. Overall, the fabric manufacturing process is linear and involves 4 main stages: raw material preparation, spinning, fabric construction, weaving or knitting, and finishing. Each stage is essential for transforming raw materials into usable textiles. This process begins with raw material preparation. Natural fibers like wool are cleaned and carded, while synthetic fibers are prepared separately. Next, both types are spun into yarn. Once the yarn is ready, fabric construction begins. There are two main methods here: weaving, interlacing threads on a loom; knitting, interlooping yarn. After that, the fabric goes through finishing treatments: dyeing for color, mercerization for strength and shine, and calendaring for smoothness. The final outcome: usable fabrics like denim, polyester, or silk cloth. Important: when describing process diagrams with alternative methods, always mention both pathways, here, weaving or knitting. Now, ballpoint pen manufacturing process. And finally, let's look at a very interesting one: the manufacturing of ballpoint pens. I'll show you a Band 8 model answer that explains key features, comparisons, and trends. Question: is the diagram shows the manufacturing process of ballpoint pens. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features. Band 8 model answer. The diagram illustrates how ballpoint pens are manufactured from raw materials to finished products. The process begins with gathering three main materials: plastic pellets for pen bodies, metal rods for parts, and ingredients for ink. These materials are then processed separately. First, plastic pellets are shaped into pen barrels using injection molding. Second, ink is made by mixing pigments, solvents, and resins. Third, metal rods are used to create the pen tips, with tungsten carbide balls and brass casings, and the spring mechanisms. Next, these components are assembled. The ink is put into the plastic barrels and the metal tips are attached to make ink cartridges. At the same time, the spring mechanisms are prepared. After assembly, each pen is checked for proper ink flow and mechanism function. Finally, the complete pens are packaged and sent to stores. The whole process shows how different materials come together through various stages to create a working pen. This process starts with three raw materials: plastic pellets, for pen bodies; metal rods, for tips and springs; and ink ingredients, pigments, solvents, resins. Each is processed separately. Plastic pellets are molded into barrels. Ink is prepared by mixing the ingredients. Metal rods are shaped into pen tips and spring mechanisms. Next, everything is assembled together. The ink goes into cartridges, the tips are attached, and the spring mechanisms are fitted. Then comes quality control, where pens are tested for ink flow and mechanical function. Finally, the pens are packaged and distributed to stores worldwide. Reminder: for production diagrams, highlight how different raw materials come together into one final product. Friends, I know that process diagrams often look scary at first, so many arrows, steps, and details. But don't panic. Always start with an introduction: the diagram illustrates. Then give an overview. Mention how many main stages and whether the process is linear or cyclical. Finally, describe the stages in order, using connectors like first, next, after that, finally. If you follow this simple structure, you can handle any process diagram confidently. And remember this: IELTS is not just testing your English, it's testing your clarity of explanation. You don't need complex words. You need clear, logical sentences. So, these were 3 IELTS Academic Writing Task 1 predictions: furniture manufacturing, fabric production, and ballpoint pen manufacturing. Practice these Band 8 samples, copy the structure, and apply it to any new diagram you face in the exam. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your study partners. And comment below with your exam date. I'll personally wish you good luck. Stay confident, IELTS warriors. Your Band 8 or 9 is waiting for you.